Biggest icks at Comic-Con and just general cosplay icks.
We both asked people on our Instagram stories what their biggest icks were.
And here are the results.
Photographers sniping.
Oh no, this has happened to me a couple of times definitely. And it's really rude if you're doing a photo shoot with another photographer and there's just somebody behind you.
Oh, ick. No, please go away.
The photographer you're shooting with, you're comfortable shooting with them and they're getting the right angle and stuff, but then the other person's just coming from nowhere.
Oh, Lord knows if they get the wrong angle.
You don't know what angle they're getting.
Especially if it's a foot sniping photographer.
Photography sniping on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like at least an 8.5, just because it's so rude.
It's not consent to take a photograph kind of thing.
Oh, mass TikTok con dancers.
They just get in the way, don't they? And it's just kind of cringy to watch.
They make you leave your space sometimes as well.
They push people out of the way so they can have their big group. Like anything more than a group of 6 just gets a bit like, go somewhere else. Go to the car park underneath the con or somewhere private. Don't actually be at the con.
Pick on a scale of 1 to 10.
9.
Okay. Strangers asking for a pic with you and touching you and or your cosplay without your permission.
They're always the creepy, like live in their mum's basement kind of guys.
Just get right on in there, just hi, not met you before.
No, thanks, nice, that's not you then. Wouldn't expect that sort of thing in a public place normally, just because you're in a costume of a character they obviously have a crush on or something. Makes it, that's why it's weird.
I think girls maybe get it more than guys.
Yeah.
Cosplay is not consent, guys. There's banners on it. So that on a scale of 1 to 10?
That's
Ick
a 10.
scale.
That's a 10 ick scale. It's, yeah.
Full on cosplay, Comic-Con, ick.
Free hug signs.
Ooh. Ooh! I haven't seen as many recently, post-COVID.
Yeah. Silver linings.
Silver linings of COVID. They tend to also not be in cosplay, which is interesting. It's like, are you wanting cosplayers to come up to you for hugs? Are you really lonely? Is it a dare?
They're wanting the attention of having a cosplay, but not getting or making a cosplay. I mean, it's sweet in a way, I guess, share the love and all that, but I don't want to hug a stranger.
No, it gives me concerns.
Ick out of 10?
I'm going to sort of say more like a 6.
Yeah.
Just because it's not so bad these days.
Most of the icks are generally creepy. That isn't so creepy.
Obviously, it's more creepy if it's aimed towards children. Wonderful cosplay ick. Smelling BO.
If you can afford to go to the con, you can afford deodorant. Like, why? I understand, especially in a summer con, it can be hot and sweaty. But, like, douse yourself in aftershave or perfume. I would rather you smell too strong of that than the BO that comes about.
I think that's it. If you can afford to go to Comic-Con, you can afford to just run down to Tesco's and get some deodorant.
Ick out of 10. 10.
Because it's just icky.
It's icky. People, generally normies, non-cosplayers, asking for a photo whilst you're sat down. Usually, like when you're eating lunch, you're mid-eating lunch and there'll be a swarm of them.
I haven't had this happen to me, but it happened to a friend who just sat down for like the first day at con, knackered, went to have a sandwich. Some guy came over and was like, "Can I take your photo?" And he was like, "No, I'm eating." He was like, "Yeah, but it looks cool." And he was like, no is no.
Yeah.
Don't take my photo of me stuffing my face with the only food I've had all day.
Like, I understand some characters, if you're doing photo shoots, it might make sense for, I don't know, like the Avengers eating shawarma or something. You specifically arrange that with a photographer to do that shoot. Don't have a random person taking a picture for, you don't know what, their Facebook profile or personal use, I don't know.
I don't know why they'd be taking it. Sometimes I think it's obviously cool. At the end of the day,
literally, you're having a break. You're not paid to be at the event.
No.
And you don't work for the event. You're not their personal plaything that they can just take a picture of. Whenever it's no.
It's a big ick, definitely.
Ick out of 10 though.
Or I think like a good 7.7.
0.7.
It's not quite an 8.
It's more than a 7.
More than a 7. People already filming or taking photos of you without your permission, and then you catch them doing that, and then they ask for permission.
It's annoying. I can understand sometimes some people are doing vlogs of the whole thing, and so they're like kind of constantly filming, I guess. That's usually like them with stuff in the background. But then you get the ones who are more like this, who just they already start filming you, and you're like, okay, do you want a picture? And they've already got one.
Yeah,
It's
and
like,
this is different from sniping
it's
because
permission.
they're not just like hiding behind the photographer. They're just outright just filming you, and then you make that eye contact. It's that awkward moment of,
I've been cool.
oh no, is this okay? And you're like, no,
No.
not from that angle.
I like had to say to someone like delete it, but I was literally like, yeah, sure, and then
Oh, you play it off.
pose or something. Yeah.
Sometimes I've seen it happen to friends of mine. Again, it seems to be more like happens to girls at con. Stare them out, make them really uncomfortable. Hopefully it'll stop them from doing it again. Scale of 1 to 10 though.
I know, yeah, maybe an 8.5, because you get that few people who are just filming everything and they happen to get you in it, but then most of the other time it's just creeps.
Yeah.
This one annoys me, and I've had it before. Non-cosplayers, normies who are going to the con and, you know, love comic books, characters, movies, whatever it is, don't know anything about cosplay, pointing out inaccuracies about your cosplay.
Firstly, I've had it definitely from children. I've been dressed as Peggy and been like, oh my god, Mary Poppins. Like, you just brush it off if it's kids. I don't think I've had it happen to me. I don't know.
I've had people like point out something like, oh, that's really good, but that colour's a bit off, or the buckle or something isn't quite right. And it's like, yeah, because that was a comic book, so how am I supposed to, that doesn't practically work in the real world, so it's like a translation of that.
I genuinely don't think it's happened to me, but I can see that it's, sometimes people might mean it as like, oh, like, so close to being good, they don't mean it as an insult, but it can come across a little bit like, oh, wow, you failed there.
It's similar to getting online from other cosplayers sometimes, Instagram comments and things, they're trying to give constructive criticism, but it comes across as that they're just...
Elitism.
Elitism.
Can come across like that. It's not meant like that, then it's not such a big deal, whatever, brush it off. If somebody's literally just gone like, that's not as good as mine, I'm going to go over and point out the flaws, then like, ick 1,000, get out of the con, be a nice human being.
Ick of this, though, even though you haven't experienced it, hypothetically.
I'd say probably more like a 5, maybe 5.5, just
Yeah.
because I don't think typically there tends to be like,
I'd say if it comes from a cosplayer, try and think of it more as a constructive criticism thing. If it comes from a non-cosplayer, I'm like, you don't know anything about it. Like, shut up, leave me alone. From a cosplayer, ick 6. From a non-cosplayer, 8.
And if you've got any other icks, comment them below.